Good morning. You're watching the morning news here at CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. Right here on the show today, we're going to be taking a look at all of the country's top stories. As you might already know, the monsoon session of the parliament is, as we speak, currently in session. It's been in session since July 18th. And yesterday, finally, after several demands put up by the opposition, the parliament finally witnessed a discussion on the issue of inflation. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was present. She argued that India is still the fastest growing economy and that it is performing better compared to other nations. She also emphasized the fact that India will not have to face recessions. She said that stagflation also is not anywhere on the horizon. Now, in response to that, the opposition took on the government. They blamed it for widening inequality with rising prices, and they also blamed it for failing to provide jobs to the nation. The opposition also continued to interfere. You had Om Prakash Birla, he's the speaker. He had made multiple requests. The Congress even staged a walkout within 30 minutes of the finance minister's speech. Now, that was a conversation on inflation. The discussion on price rise is going to take place today in the Rajya Sabha.
The GDP of the US fell 0.9% in the second quarter, following a 1.6% decline in the first quarter, marking a start of what they call themselves an unofficial recession. There is no question of India getting into recession or stagflation. A Bloomberg survey, which was done by economists, has said that zero probability of India slipping into recession. We have held the inflation well within 7 or even below. Retail inflation was more than 9%. अभी 7% है. 7 से कम होने के ही प्रयत्न हर बार हुआ है. 2 बार उसका अच्छा नतीजा भी पहुंच गए. मगर 9% से ज्यादा 28 मंथ्स को आप एक इकट्ठा करके देखेंगे, उसमें 22 मंथ्स में 9% से ज्यादा था यूपीए के कार्यकाल में. 9% से ज्यादा. Even as the entire globe's growth is being reviewed, reassessed, re-estimated, each time we remain at the highest. Globally, when the situation is really like this, and every agency after agency is assessing the situation by country and repeatedly in their assessment, India has remained the highest. I think this House, irrespective of the party differences, will have to feel proud for this country and its people.
मुझे दुख इस बात का हुआ कि जितने भी रूलिंग पार्टी के जो बोले, उनके हिसाब से तो महंगाई है ही नहीं देश में. और वित्त मंत्री जी का जवाब भी यही है कि सब कुछ अंडर कंट्रोल है. तो मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं ये हमारे लोगों के साथ इतना भद्दा मजाक है.
You know, the finance minister's reply was completely disappointing. She was all over the place. The attitude of the government is that there's no inflation in this country. People are not suffering. If that's your response to the concerns raised by the opposition, articulating the voice of 140 crore people of this country, then why listen to such a response? I mean, I've never seen a more insensitive, a more pathetic, and a more blasé and arrogant response.
हमारे ये उम्मीद थी कि कम से कम हमारे वित्त मंत्री सरकार की तरफ से कोई ठोस कदम उठाने की बात कहे जाएंगे सदन के अंदर, जैसे कि आम लोग जो परेशानियां झेल रहे हैं उनको कुछ राहत मिले. लेकिन कोई राहत की बात ही नहीं. पंछी चले मजे में, वित्त मंत्री की कोई परवाह नहीं. देश भाड़ में जाए, लोगों की हालत जर्जर होते जाए, किसी को कोई परवाह नहीं. अभी यही नारा लगाने पड़ेगा हमें कि मोदी है तो मुमकिन नहीं, मोदी है तो महंगाई है.
वित्त मंत्री ने जवाब कुछ दिया ही नहीं. वो अभी भी 8 साल पुराने आंकड़े दे रही हैं. जीएसटी से पहले कितना वेट लगता था, ये आंकड़े दे रही हैं. अरे महंगाई कम कैसे हो गई, इसका जवाब देना चाहिए था. एक बात कही कि दुनिया में रिसेशन होगा लेकिन भारत उससे बचा रहेगा. मैंने इसलिए खड़े होकर सवाल पूछा कि ये बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन ये जरा समझा दीजिए कि भारत रिसेशन से कैसे बचा रहेगा. उस पर कोई जवाब नहीं है.
All right, and one more conversation, a bit of a deeper dive on this. My colleague Maria Shakil last night spoke to the Union Minister Prahlad Joshi on what he had to say on the conversation that had taken place in Parliament yesterday. Take a look.
Prahlad-ji, TMC MPs who were suspended, also the Congress MPs, all of them are reminding you, that is the government, of what the BJP did when you were in opposition, since you just spoke about it. They are saying that disruption was seen as a normal, natural process, more legitimate, which the then leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Arun Jaitley and Ms. Sushma Swaraj had famously said that disruption is a very legitimate form of the opposition to bring concerns of the people on the floor of the House. So what was legitimate during your opposition days became illegitimate right now?
No, that's what I have said. When they have come to, well, we have not suspended. When they brought the placard and tried to put in front of the chair and also tearing the papers, throwing it on the chair and throwing the books, is it the way? Is there a difference there or not? And even now, and another thing, and issue also you should consider. We said we are ready for the price rise discussion. Then also you do this thing. I asked them, what is your prime demand? They said, we want price rise discussion. I said, initially, they were thinking that we will not allow that price rise discussion. When I said, okay, then they said today itself, I said, give us 1 week. It is a courtesy. She is not well. Give us 1 week. They are not ready to give 1 week. And she came back. I said on Tuesday, today you want discussion, I am ready. See, comparison also should be fair, I am telling you.
Okay, we're going to move on from this story. Though remember, the Parliament is in session, so we'll continue to bring you updates from this story. We're going to move on very quickly from Delhi now to Maharashtra, where you might know the state is reeling under high-voltage political drama. This is after Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut. He's a senior leader in the party. He's known to be a firebrand, and he's also the former right-hand man of the former Chief Minister, Uddhav Thackeray. He was sent to 4 days of ED custody by a sessions court yesterday. Remember, this is in connection with the Patra Chawl land scam case. This is a case that's been going on for a few years now in terms of its investigation. Raut will be in custody till the 4th of August. The court observed that 112 crore rupees were apparently, allegedly siphoned off and transferred to Raut's wife. The court also observed that the floor space index was sold to builders illegally. We'll explain to you in depth exactly what that means later on the show today. Now, my colleague Herman Gomes tracked down exactly how this entire case has played out over the last few years. Take a look. This is Herman Gomes from the ground.
We are right now inside Siddharth Nagar, which is more popularly known as Patra Chawl, which is at the heart of the controversy in which Sanjay Raut has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. At one point in time, there were 672 tenants that lived here. It was then decided by MADA that the area needs to be developed, and therefore an agreement was signed between 3 parties. One was Guru Ashish Construction Private Limited, which was awarded the tender, MADA itself, as well as the tenants. But 14 years later, nothing has really changed. In fact, it was only in 2010 that the ED says that 83 lakhs was allegedly given to the wife of Sanjay Raut, who brought a flat in Dadar, Mumbai, which is now seized as part of money laundering. Due to non-payment of rent and other irregularities, MADA sent a termination notice in 2018 to the developers. The 9 developers then moved Bombay High Court and the project was stalled. In June 2021, the project was restarted again based on a government GR. In February 2022 this year, the construction work once again began, but at a slow pace. What is the exact matter, if you can just tell us in brief?
First, I want to tell you that as far as 672 tenants concerned, we are only concerned and interested in rent and house of 672 tenants. We are least bothered about the politics. We are least concerned about the politics. We are not interested what is happening, what is going to happen, whether Sanjay Raut is involved in this all or not. There's only one commitment from builder, from MADA to tenants, 672 tenants, and on behalf of 672 tenants, commitment was for Siddharth Nagar Cooperative Housing Society. And from since 2018, we are just rushing for our house. We are just what we can say भाग दौड़ कर रहे हैं, घर के लिए हर जगह पे लड़ रहे हैं, बट अभी तक हमें घर नहीं मिला है. काम चालू हुआ, यही हमारे लिए. हमारी सिर्फ 3 या 4 मांगे हैं. फर्स्ट डिमांड, we need house. At any cost, we need house and we'll grab it. Second demand is we need rent. We need 40,000 rupees rent. And third demand is at least Mahada should fulfill all the commitments which are given in tri-party agreement.
A midnight arrest, several hours of questioning, and now in ED's custody for 3 days. Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has his back against the wall. He has been accused of financial irregularities in the redevelopment of a chawl in Mumbai's Goregaon and related financial property transactions involving his wife and alleged associates. While the Enforcement Directorate had sought 8 days custody, a special court only granted custody till the 4th of August. The judge observed that 112 crores was siphoned off, of which 55 lakhs was transferred to the accused's wife. The PMLA prima facie refers to trail of money and the role of the accused. Custodial interrogation is necessary considering the volume of the matter. The ED deserves custody in order to investigate the crime thoroughly. Sanjay Raut is one of the few prominent Shiv Sena leaders who remained in Uddhav Thackeray's camp when a political upheaval brought down his government. So when his close aide was arrested, Uddhav Thackeray went and met Raut's family and stood firmly behind him.
आज मात्र जे ज्यांच्या डोक्यात हवा गेलेली आहे त्यांनाही मी सांगू इच्छितो की निर्गुणपणाने वागू नका. दिवस आणि काळ हा सगळ्यांसाठी नेहमी चांगलाच असतो असं नाही.
Thackeray Sena faction also raised the issue in parliament.
Chairman has to be kept in the loop in case any such action is being taken against a sitting member of parliament. I would want to ask the chairman if he has been kept in the loop. If he has not been kept in the loop, what is the procedure that he is going to be following? And if he was kept in the loop, why is it not finding a mention in the parliamentary bulletin which the rules clearly suggest?
But independent MP Navneet Rana, who was arrested for threatening to play the Hanuman Chalisa outside Uddhav Thackeray's home, linked the scam to the former chief minister.
Still reached to many people. But Mathushri, yes. Because the way he used to work in Mahavikas Agadi as an agent, any work should be done, means done by Sanjay Raut.
Sanjay Raut was summoned 4 times by the Enforcement Directorate but appeared only once before the agency. So can his vendetta claim still hold?
All right, and this is an update that came in a few hours ago. It's particularly important. Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri has been killed in a CIA drone strike in Afghanistan. This is the biggest blow to the militant body since its group founder Osama bin Laden was killed all the way back in 2011, so more than a decade ago. US President Joe Biden made the announcement just a few hours ago. He announced that the United States had killed al-Zawahiri. Now, my colleague Abhishek Jha is with us to bring us more context. Abhishek, 2 questions for you. For our audiences, could you give us more context on the importance of al-Zawahiri to the Taliban movement? That's question 1. Question 2, can you tell us how the Taliban government in Afghanistan has responded to this?
So, Tura, this is one of the biggest news of this hour, as we have been told that U.S. administration, in fact, U.S. President himself had announced that al-Zawahiri has been killed. Al-Zawahiri was now the current chief of Al-Qaeda. We know Al-Qaeda and its gruesome killings and terrorist attacks that has shook all across the world. In fact, Osama bin Laden, who was chief of the Al-Qaeda, was killed in 2011 in Pakistan's Abbottabad by U.S. Navy SEALs. And almost exactly 11 years after that, now USA has been able to decimate the successor of Taliban, that was al-Zawahiri. With this, surely Al-Qaeda will have a big blow on its organizational structure. But we'll also have to see that other organizations have risen in the last 10 years, like ISIS and also the Taliban, the resurface of Taliban as a national government of Afghanistan. These are the major terrorist organization or terrorist-leaning establishment that will have major concern for other government across the globe. Meanwhile, it's been just few hours since USA has announced killing of al-Zawahiri in a drone strike. But we are yet to hear any response from Afghan government or the current Taliban ruling dispensation from Kabul. It is believed that al-Zawahiri was also killed in a drone strike in Kabul. So it is but obvious that we will have a response from Taliban, but in few hours' time. But we'll have to wait for that.
Okay, all right, Abhishek, thank you so much for bringing us those details. For our audiences, big developments coming in. These are truly huge developments coming in from Afghanistan right now. We're going to head into a break. On the other side, we're going to continue to take a look at some of the country's top stories. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
CNN News 18 is New India's #1 news choice. Unprecedented 14-week leadership